what is your objection against Christianity? Is the question on the table. We've got Le Chef in Canada.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Exactly, le chef par excellence.
Yeah. So are we talking? Okay. There's two ways I can approach this. One is what is my objection in the sense of why don't I believe it, or we could go to sort of internal critiques of why Christianity is just like a mess when it comes to the things that are preached, or why Christianity is,
I can just quickly summarize. I can summarize my reasons in 3 words.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, I don't believe it because I don't think there's any evidence in support of any of it. So
how about we do an internal critique? Because I think, Kenneth, I've addressed you in the past. I brought you the 7-day cycle proof, and you kind of panicked when I provided you this information. So I believe I demonstrated that. I'm sorry?
This is a troll thing. So you tell the screener that you want to talk about what is the objection to Christianity, and now you're switching to do the 7-day cycle nonsense?
No. I'm going to the internal critique because I already demonstrated, Jesus, you're submitted to his will.
You haven't demonstrated anything. You haven't demonstrated a thing. You should stop saying that because it's not true.
What was my argument again? Because if you're saying it's not true, then you know my argument and you refuted it, right? So what did you refute?
No, I could be utterly ignorant of your argument, and you would still be in the position of having not demonstrated anything.
So how can you say I didn't demonstrate something if you're ignorant of what my argument is? What is the premise of my argument?
Because it hasn't been demonstrated definitionally. If I don't know your argument,
does he really think the burden of proof is on us?
He does this. So I mean, what do you want to do here, caller? We got 15 minutes left in the show. Let's do this. Let's dive in.
Okay, so how about this? I reestablish what my position is, and then we can do an internal critique because I know you guys are not going to try to address my points because my argument is infallible. So again, first proposition is authorship.
Lloyd, have you heard this guy before?
This is a new one for me.
Oh, this guy, he calls around the shows and does this.
His argument, like his God, is infallible. Yeah.
He's gonna
the burden of proof. The burden of proof is on us to disprove his God without him even saying a single word. Oh, that's brilliant! I love it.
He's gonna make the case that let's see how I do, Le Chef. He's gonna make the case that there's a biblical link between like God saying that all of humanity would be following a 7-day cycle, and now on our calendar there's a 7-day week and that is somehow proof of the Bible.
So we have a 7-day week, therefore God.
That's where this is going.
No. Lloyd, Kenneth, how about you let me do my job better?
Okay, do it. Yeah, go ahead.
It's based on two infallible propositions. Number one, the God of the Hebrews makes exclusive claims to the 7-day cycle.
Pause. Stop muting you. Okay, so one, God, I'm writing it down. God of Hebrews makes exclusive claims to 7-day cycle. 7-day cycle. We got infallible proof number one on the page. Let's hear number two.
All right. And the God of the Hebrews, or if you can put that in parentheses, you could say the Hebrews claimed their God. Just if you're going to go into semantics, because I know people are desperate these days. But the Hebrews claimed their God predicted the universal application of the 7-day cycle as a demonstration or a signature, a sign of his authority over all nations. And we can see by the law's cause and effect, the domino effect from 2,000 years ago, when Jesus Christ said he is Lord of the Sabbath. So therefore, wherever there's a 7-day cycle, there's the sphere of his influence. We can see Israel kept a 7-day cycle exclusively. And from then till now, every nation is submitted to a 7-day cycle. So by that,
just to humor me, Le Chef, you sound incredibly proud of this argument.
Oh,
Is this your best argument for God, or is there an even better one?
This is the best recipe I have on the menu. You've been served with the delicious.
He's dead serious, like
with the delicious.
Oh, that's
and he usually calls himself Mr. like Delicious.
That's like really tragic.
I don't know where Le Chef came from. He's mixing it up.
I feel really sorry for him. Poor guy.
Yeah, so argue against it. Argue with it. Give me a refutation.
No, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm just going to laugh.
Okay, so
Because it's circular reasoning.
Exactly what,
It's circular reasoning. Oh,
circular reasoning?
Judeo-Christian society has adopted a 7-day week modeled on the Bible, that the religions and creeds that founded the society to begin with. Therefore, God. It's circular reasoning and presuppositionalism.
Okay, how is it circular reasoning when I'm telling you something is written in a book and it dictates your reality? That's not circular reasoning.
Also, so I can just find any book and it will dictate my reality. On what basis? Listen, no. On what basis? On what basis is the Bible exclusively the authority for dictating our reality?
You cannot, because I'm saying you cannot provide me any other evidence or any book that predicted the future with a universal implications. The day you can do that,
whoa.
I'll become an atheist right now.
Whoa. I'm going to drag you back onto this, and you're going to squirm and try and get away from it because you're a silly troll. But on what basis are you isolating and identifying the book as the Bible, as an exclusive authority on reality and the future? On what basis are you making that claim?
On the basis of the prediction I just provided to you, and the fact that it is exclusive. Nobody else can do that.
Which
can you provide me?
So if I can, so anyone, whoa. So anyone who can make a future prediction and it comes true gets to dictate how people live their lives. So all you need to do, all you need is a time machine, is what you're saying, so that you know what's going to happen in the future, or dare I say it, make a stab in the dark about a future event and it ends up happening, and you get to tell people what they do with their bodies, who they sleep with, and define their lives in every minutia. That's your argument. It's rubbish.
So I muted the caller about 30 seconds ago because he kept talking over you. And
good
like
grief.
there's the whole thing of like how conversations work, where you've got to, listen and speak.
Yeah.
There's two sides to it. So go ahead and deal with what Lloyd just said.
Okay, first of all, I just said universal implication, and he still hasn't provided us an example. I said it's exclusive.
You don't get to just throw words at us, and we so that we're some kind of lapdogs, and we answer every single. We can just ignore stuff that doesn't make sense. We get to do that. We're not kind of your puppets. We don't have to dance around to every single word that you arbitrarily decide to throw in. What's your argument for the Bible being the infallible word of God, exclusively the Bible and no other sacred text? What's your argument? You're not giving us a single one, and all you're doing is just throwing words at us and expecting us to, we hadn't thought about that. Universal implications, 7-day week. It's not how it works. If you're really, no, I'm not done. No, I'm not done. If you're really passionate about persuading people to share your views, you're gonna have to do a great deal better than that. Because I've been doing these shows for a while now. This is one of the very worst. This is right up there with I Found God in My Cereal, which I think was one of the very first atheist experience ones I did. This is a really bad one. So what's your evidence for the Bible, and exclusively the Bible, being the infallible word of God?
All right. I'm going to try to respond again, and let's see how if you can control yourself, because I just said it predicted the future, and it has universal implications. Therefore, it is exclusive. Can you give me an example of anybody else who's made a claim that has universal implications?
Why?
So let me dive in here. So.
Okay, great.
I want to try to explain why we don't have to, okay? Because it's a silly question. So, but before I do that, I want to really, really quickly tell you that I actually thought about you, because I've heard you call into a number of shows doing this, about a month ago. So about a month ago, I was in Mexico, and I was at a place called Chichen Itza, okay? It's a Mayan historical site. There's a temple. Okay. And the temple is constructed so that it lines up so that on the equinoxes, this shadow like creates this effect where it looks like there's a snake coming down this giant pyramid. It's really, really super cool. It's a 4-sided temple. Anybody can look this up. And each side has these steps going up. There's 91 steps on each side of the platform, with the top being the 365th step, because the Mayans had worked out a calendar on essentially what I think you would refer to as a 7-day cycle. They did this completely independently of anything having to do with any Hebrew god at all. They just, looked at the seasons and the moon cycles and stuff, and they worked out that a 7-day cycle works. Okay. Like many, many, many other cultures did. You can see 7-day cycles with, Sumerians and pre-biblical times. The 7-day cycle, there's nothing about it that is in any way unique to the Bible. Okay. So I just wanted to say it was a funny thing. It was a funny moment that I'm standing there in Mexico. I'm with my wife. I'm trying to enjoy this heritage site. And as they're describing the way they worked out the calendar and the number of steps and everything, I was like, I wonder if the 7-day cycle guy has ever heard of Chichen Itza. Anyway, the Bible can make a claim, okay, about a 7-day cycle, okay, which I'm not sure that it necessarily does what you're saying it does. But for the sake of argument, I'll just say it does, okay? The Bible could make a claim about the future state of the world. It can say the world's going to follow a 7-day cycle, and this is going to happen because of the Hebrew God's authority. And then the world, broadly speaking, could go on to follow what you're describing as a 7-day cycle for reasons that are completely independent of this alleged God. There's nothing that you've done to show that there's actually a link between like a cause and an effect here. It's just asserted. A book says a thing and a thing happened, and nothing tying those things together. It doesn't matter if anyone else has made such a claim. You haven't done anything to prove that there's any substance to yours.
Yeah, and what you're doing is you're ignoring the argument where we say, let's grant you the benefit of the doubt, even though we disagree that this is a future prediction. Even if we grant you that it is a future prediction, on what basis are you seriously suggesting that just being able to see something that's going to happen in the future gives someone the right to dictate how people live their lives and to insist that they worship you for the rest of eternity? Yeah. What's the basis for doing that? And you completely ignored all that before and just went on with this sneering, universal implications. But please say something that responds to this particular wording I keep barking on about. This is the frustration I have with you. I'm not convinced you're actually interested in what's true or not. I think you're only interested in, frankly, just railroading the conversation along how you want it to go.
Yeah, because you think you found something clever, but it's really, really not.
Can I speak now?
Please.
Okay, I'm not muted?
No.
You guys can hear me? Okay, yep. Perfect. So I'm gonna respond to you, Kenneth, first, and then I'll finalize with Lloyd, and I'll let you guys go. First of all, the Aztecs, you said, or the Aztecs, they kept a 365. Mayans, okay, the Mayans, everyone can verify this. The Mayans did not keep a 7-day cycle. They kept a yearly cycle. They didn't have weeks. So already there, you're proven wrong. Second of all, the Sumerians kept a lunar cycle, not a 7-day cycle. So it wasn't a recurrent 7-day cycle. So certain weeks would finish with 8 or 9 days for it to be in alignment with the cycle of the moon, because the lunar cycle is 29.5 days. So again, you're wrong about the Mayans, and you're wrong about the Sumeria.
How long was the Mayans' lunar cycle? How long was it?
I didn't say that Mayans had a lunar cycle. I said they had a yearly cycle. It was in alignment with the sun. It had nothing to do with the moon. So
that's actually not entirely true. There were elements of sun and moon, and the menstrual cycles of Mayan women also factored into how they broke this down.
A 7-day week. They didn't have a 7-day week. So you could throw that out the garbage. Anybody could verify this information. It takes a couple of seconds. And
right, but they had a 28-day cycle, right?
A lunar cycle is 29.5 days. It doesn't amount to a 70. It doesn't divide by 7. And I just told you, according to every scholar, they would add 8 or 9 days in the last week.
You're being very selective in how you're applying this information, because the numerous cultures have used 28-day cycles, lunar, and they as a lunar cycle. You are wrong.
I've just gone on Wikipedia. And it's telling me that the 7-day cycle comes from the Babylonians.
I mean, it's been all over history. There's nothing, but you're not in any way engaging with the larger point here.
No.
He went to Wikipedia. I am going to the primary source called the Enuma Elish tablets, the Babylonian tablets, the 5th tablet, from verse 10 to 31. He's telling me what Wikipedia says.
None of this has anything to do with whether you've done anything to substantiate your claim.
Educated on the topic. It shows you I'm educated on the topic, and you guys are for anything to justify your madness. That's what
educated's a interesting word to use. You've done nothing to demonstrate that your claim is substantive or true, or there's anything behind it. A book says a thing happened. Is what you've got.
So the whole 7-day claim being exclusive to the Bible is bogus, and a very, very quick internet search unpacks that whole lie that you're trying to peddle on Talk Heathen. And again, even if we grant you that the Bible predicted something that would happen in the future, which we don't, but even if we did, how is that a basis for me and Kenneth to spend the rest of our lives worshipping a genocidal maniac that once wrote in the Bible that gay people should be executed? You're not making any arguments at all that justify your position.
No problem. I'm going to get to you, Lloyd, in a second. Am I muted? Or
no, you're not, because you're just a silly troll. Can we move on from this?
We sure can. We got a couple minutes left in the show, and a better way to use that time would be to acknowledge our crew, would be to do literally anything else. So, yeah. I'm sort of happy that you got to experience that guy, because he's been doing this for a long time.
That is and that's a special kind of delusion, isn't it? Because he's really convinced himself of his own BS there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
that's quite scary.
There's this idea that the greatest enemy to knowledge, the greatest threat to knowledge, is the illusion of knowledge. When people think they've already got something.
He's convinced himself that he's like some genius that hasn't been discovered yet.
Yeah.
And calling into Talk Heathen is his fast track to wider acclaim. He's going to be the next Jordan Peterson, who's going to tell everybody about universal
there was a 7-day
significance.
cycle. Make your bet on the 7-day cycle.
You see, there's universal implications at stake here.
There's a metaphysical substrate to the cycle.
In his own mind, I think he is the next Jordan Peterson. It's really, really tragic, isn't it?
I don't know. The interesting thing with all this stuff, and like if there can be like a grand takeaway from today's show, I would just like to tell everyone, just slow down. None of us are as smart or well informed as we probably think that we are. All of our conclusions should be held tentatively, because we don't know everything. Okay. And the more that you try to come off the top rope and be like, hey, listen, I'm going to elbow drop in with this 7-day cycle thing because I've got it all figured out. All you're doing is showing your ass, because you're demonstrating that you are ignorant about history, about comparative religions, and about a whole host of other things, frankly, that we don't have time to get into.